সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, বিরতির পর আপনাদের সবাইকে আবারও আমন্ত্রণ এনটিভি কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্সে। আমরা আজকে কথা বলছি ইনক্রিজ অফ গ্যাং ভায়োলেন্স ইন টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটস। আমার সাথে আজকে উপস্থিত আছেন আমার হাতের ডান পাশে জনাব আফাজ মিয়া, ইজ এ বিজনেসম্যান অ্যান্ড এ লোকাল কমিউনিটি অ্যাক্টিভিস্ট। তারপরে আমার সাথে উপস্থিত আছেন জনাব সদ্দুজ্জামান খান ফ্রম আশা ইয়ুথ প্রজেক্ট। আমার হাতের বাম পাশে উপস্থিত আছেন অন মাই লেফট হ্যান্ড সাইড আই হ্যাভ কাউন্সিলর অ্যান্ড্রু ক্রেগান, Lib Dem councillor from Tower Hamlets, and on my further left I have Chris Willits from Tower Hamlets Youth Sports Foundation. Thank you, four of you, for joining us today. Today we are talking about increase of gang violence in East London. What are the reasons behind this increase and how we can solve it? সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আপনারা আমাদেরকে ফোন করতে পারবেন। আমাদের স্ক্রিনের নিচে যে ফোন নাম্বার আছে তাতে ফোন করে আপনাদের যদি কোনো অপিনিয়ন থাকে, কোনো অভিমত থাকে, আমাদের সাথে তা রাখতে পারবেন, আমাদের সাথে কথা বলতে পারবেন, আমাদের অতিথিদের সাথেও আপনারা কথা বলতে পারবেন। তো Chris, the point that you are making on previous segment, that the young people, they need a role model in the community. They always look for a role model even in sports world. And I mentioned a point about prevention is better than cure, and also Andrew said that the way the kids, the young people, the way they are spending their time outside of their school, college or university is very important. And your organization plays a vital role in helping those young people to spend their time in much more productive way. So role model, what's your point about role model? If you
well, I've worked in Tower Hamlets 12 years, and unfortunately I've seen.
So we have a caller. Let me just take a phone call, then we'll start again. Sorry to interrupt you. Assalamu alaikum caller, আপনার পরিচয় দিয়ে দয়া করে আপনার প্রশ্নটি করুন।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম, আপনার পরিচয় দিয়ে দয়া করে আপনার প্রশ্নটি করুন।
আমার পরিচয় হচ্ছে, আমার নাম হচ্ছে নুসরাত।
জি।
আর আমি বাংলাদেশি একটা মেয়ে।
জি, নুসরাত আপা, জি বলেন আপনার প্রশ্ন।
আপনি দয়া করে কি বলবো, বলার তো অনেক কিছু আছে আসলে।
জি।
হ্যাঁ নুসরাত আপা, আপনি শুনেন, আমি আপনাকে এটা বলতে চাচ্ছি, আমার জামাইকে আমি এই দেশে নিয়ে আসছি, বুঝছেন?
জি আপা।
আমি যখন এই দেশে ছিলাম, মানে আমি এই দেশে আছি যাবতীয় 28 ইয়ার্স হয়ে গেছে ভাইয়া, বুঝছেন?
আপনি
28 ইয়ার্স হয়ে গেছে আমি লন্ডনে থাকতেছি।
জি।
আর আমার জামাই আমার সাথে বিট্রে করছে।
আপা, আমাদের আজকের আই ফিল সরি ফর ইউ, বাট আপনি আজকে টপিকটা দেখেন, আমাদের আজকের টপিক হচ্ছে ইনক্রিজ অফ গ্যাং ভায়োলেন্স ইন ইস্ট লন্ডন। Thank you, caller gone. Sorry, the point that lady was making, she, is a romantic, stuff. She actually is a family issue, to be honest with you. So today we are not discussing anything about family issue, but I do feel sorry about her, and I hope her problem will be sorted soon. We wish you all the best.
Of course, yeah.
Sorry, the point, Chris, that you are making, that young people, they need a role model in society.
I've been unfortunate to see a few young people go the wrong way on some of these things, and have even gone to prison and so on. And I think what's been common to a lot of those cases is that they've had the wrong role models. They've been people, usually in the local area, who've been involved in these sorts of things themselves, and they've actually, been idolised by kids in their formative years, kind of in their early teens. And I think you're right, it's very difficult to measure some of the prevention rather than cure stuff, but the more you can flood the schools to an extent where all kids are, but also then, as Andrew was saying, on evenings and weekends, good role models, positive role models. And unfortunately, one of the real tough things that we need to crack in sport is that there aren't that many British Bangladeshi role models who occupy those spaces.
Are you working on it?
We are working on it. So just this week, actually, we've been running a sports leadership program, which has a lot of young people becoming sports coaches, male and female. Because we have a really depressing statistic in Tower Hamlets where it's under 4% of adults volunteer any time to support sport and physical activity, which is, as you can imagine, the lowest in the UK. So the more we can get people into those sorts of roles, the better. And even, I think to look at elite sport is something that you wouldn't think of in the context of this kind of conversation. But actually, the more people there are who've made that path into sport as a career, the more some of our local young people see that it is something that's relevant to them as well. I think too many young Bangladeshi boys and girls, possibly through lack of support from family sometimes, but also from themselves, because they don't see it as something that's relevant for them. They don't pursue it. It's something where they go off and think about other things because they just don't feel it's relevant.
Thank you, Chris, and I'm sure our viewers, they will take that point into consideration, because if young people, they are involved with sports, that means they are spending their time in much more productive way, and this is good for their psychology. This is also good for their physical development as well. Thank you very much, Chris. আমাদের একটা কল আছে, আমরা একটা ফোন কল নিয়ে নেব। আসসালামু আলাইকুম, কলার আপনার পরিচয় দিয়ে দয়া করে আপনার প্রশ্নটি করুন।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আপনার পরিচয় দিয়ে দয়া করে আপনার প্রশ্নটি করুন।
আমার নাম মিসেস চৌধুরী।
জি।
Regarding the violence in East London and
জি
gang culture,
জি,
I think parenting skill is very important for us, because I came in this country in 1972, long time ago.
জি।
And through my work, I'm a community worker. I have found out we have got the skill in Bangladesh and skill in here. Parenting skill is so different. And I think we have to take some responsibility as a parents as well.
Definitely.
I mean, outside people can do, police can do as much as they can, or teacher can do as much as they can, but as a parents, we should take more responsibility as well to look after our children. Plus, I found out from my work and from my experience that there is a big lack in that. So we should, I know there is no funding for those things nowadays, but we have to find an innovative way how we can help our children.
Thank you.
And another thing is about the people, the young people have, people think this is a fashion nowadays, to have a part of the gang and do this sort of, silly things they do. And as our community center, they are closing down.
আমি বুঝতে পেরেছি। I got your point. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you আপনার for your contribution. She was making point about skill development, and then also the same time the role that youth center can play in developing those particular skills. আমি যদি আপনাকে জিজ্ঞেস করি, জনাব সদরুজ্জামান খান, আপনি তো ইয়ত অনেক প্রজেক্ট আগে রান করেছেন এবং এখন একটা পার্টিকুলারলি রান করছেন, এটার সমাধানটা কি, কিভাবে আমরা করতে পারি? এখানে আপনার স্কুলের একটা আমরা হোয়াট উই হ্যাভ আন্ডারস্টুড যে academic institution, school, college, universities, they can play a very vital role. The community can play a vital role. Local council, government, they can play a vital role. Parents, they should not always also avoid their responsibility. The solution টা কি আপনার কাছে কি মনে হয়?
আসলে কিন্তু আমি যেটা মনে করি, এটা আজকে এই সংক্ষিপ্ত সময়ে আপনার এটা কিন্তু একটা হিউজ ইস্যু। This is a really huge issue. I mean, combination of lots of things. দেখেন, মানে there are so many kids, they are very good. I particularly have a statistic from Newham. There are nearly 8,000 kids from 16 to 19 years old. Only 500 are classified as a NEET, not in employment education training. Rest of them are engaging, doing something.
মেজরিটি ভালো করতেছে।
এখানেও হার্মলেস এটা।
আপনার সলিউশনটা আমাদেরকে একটু বলুন, আমাদের সময় খুব সংক্ষিপ্ত।
I'm just বলতে, the housing is one of the most important factors, because some of the parents, they are not in a position to play their role in order to control and contain their kids, because they don't have enough space in home. They need enough space in home in order to let their kids to do their homework, to socialize, to talk. This is another more important factor in townlets, even in urban area. Another thing, very important,
proper housing. It's a council এবং government, they can play a vital role in providing quality houses for kids.
Secondly, of course, the parents are parents' will and parents' responsibility. Sometimes parents are very restrictive. They are really restricted which club or which third sector or which organization they can go and they cannot go. There should be a cohesive atmosphere. There should be a relationship between church, mosque, synagogues, and all this
partnership, a strong partnership.
Therefore, the parents will know. Some Muslim parents are very reluctant to let their kids to go a church-based youth center, and some others they are very reluctant to let their
social cohesion
comes to mosque-based youth center. Therefore, this community cohesion is very important. We need to have a very cohesive community. We are living in a multi-race, multi-faith and multicultural society. Therefore, we should have a cohesive.
We should appreciate and then we should use it.
I think that's a really good point. We experience a lot where we're taking kids out to take part in certain projects where it's a real battle to get parents. Even it's free, they're picked up from their door. It's a and that becomes a real issue if they've been bottled up and kept, in sometimes a very small high-rise kind of building or whatever. All of a sudden, when they get older, that kind of release is difficult to control. We obviously, in a sports context, take a lot of kids into multicultural sort of environments, often where there's alcohol around and these sorts of things. But I think actually the fact that it's got used to very slowly, and they kids in their own mind resolve the way they're going to deal with some of these things. It's actually dealt with a lot better than if it's kind of when they're older that all of a sudden these opportunities come flooding in. They've not even begun to experience them.
Thank you.
And this is another important thing: social media, also, but important social media, because through this they can spread these all ills information and this is something I think very important to be addressed by the local authority as well as the authorities, those who got power. And another most important, I think, that in our East London culture, like gang is a negative word, but actually it is a team spirit. If we have a different connotation, different words in order to introduce to our children and get together.
এটা কিন্তু উনি বলছিল যে আপনারা যদি গ্যাং মানে স্পোর্টসে একসাথে থাকাও কিন্তু পিপল
ইম্পর্টেন্ট, ইয়াং জেনারেশন তো একসাথে থাকতেই হবে।
ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ।
ফাইনালি আমি মনে করি দিস রিসোর্স ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট এন্ড উই ক্যান ব্লেম লোকাল অথরিটি। উই শুড create pressure on central government in order to allocate more resources to local authorities in order to
do their job properly.
And also the recreational facilities in and around everywhere.
Thank you very much. Thank you. সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আমরা আজকে কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্সে কথা বলছি, ইনক্রিজ অফ গ্যাং ভায়োলেন্স ইন ইস্ট লন্ডন। আমরা যাবো একটা বিরতিতে, আমাদের সাথেই থাকবেন।